everyone, it's Kate from Sleep Time Consulting and I am back with another chat in my Let's Talk About series. So today we are talking about travelling with little ones because as I record this, it is April in 2021. We are just starting to have restrictions lifted from the last lockdown. We can go and stay in self-contained accommodation and people are starting to think about those holidays, and I know a few people have been away, and actually I've already had some feedback from a post I put up recently about how tricky it's been. And this is one of the things about lockdown. It's like when I was talking about naps and how having naps out and about last week is a bit tricky because we've all been in our houses and therefore it's been much easier to focus on naps, and we've also been focusing on our bedtime and our nighttime environment and helping our little ones to sleep in their room. So now we're thinking about, and we should be thinking about, going away and staying somewhere else, whether that's, well, currently just staying in another place, or in the future staying with family or friends or whatever it may be. At the moment we are really sort of just limited to the UK, but I'm sure that will open up soon with the way things are going. Well, we will see, I suppose. I have to caveat that. But we'll focus mainly on travelling kind of around the UK at the moment so that you can get some top tips on how to handle travelling with your little ones. So I'll just start by saying, firstly, it might be tricky. Let's be honest about this. It might be a bit of a tricky situation when you're taking your little one out of their environment, what they know, into a new space, which they don't know. They might find it a little bit unsettling. And that's kind of whatever age of child. I always used to say, and I still do to a certain extent now with my kids, that, you know, the first night might be a bit rough. Might be a little bit different, and then as long as we stay consistent and we show them the same pattern and routine, then we'll actually get in a better place. So firstly, the first thing to remember is it might be a bit tricky. So let's talk about getting there first, because if you've got a little one that naps, what you want to do is basically try and not plan, but understand your journey to your place that you're going to with your little one and their nap. So if you're asking them to sleep in the car when they're not used to napping, it might be a bit tricky if their wake time isn't right. So think about whether you can moderate the journey time depending on their nap. I do know some people, and I'm not one of these, that will get up very early in the morning to do a very quick run down to Devon or Cornwall or wherever it may be. And that works quite well because they've got their kids in the car, they fall asleep and they travel while they're asleep. So you can change things like that, or you can just focus on travelling at a good time for them, and making sure that they're kind of in the right state of tiredness. And secondly, on that trip, just do what you need to do. I mean, just give them snacks. If you've got little ones, you can do things like, and they get really bored and they're not into screens perhaps, which you can do a bit of course, because we need to give ourselves a break with all of this. Then you can do things like little presents to unwrap. They could just be, cheap toys, or wrapping up their own toys to kind of reimagine them in the car. And you sort of pass them back. So it's not just all about the snacks, but it can be about some sort of enjoyment through the car journey. So consider just snack, toy, feed, screens, whatever it is, get through the journey. I suppose that's the kind of the key thing. Obviously the recommendations around sort of taking a break, if you've got a little one in a car seat, one of the original baby seats, but bear that in mind with your journey and give yourself a break as well, maybe a little walk around, loose stop, all that kind of stuff. So then when you've got there, firstly, think about what you're taking with you. This is obviously before you've gone. Make sure you take something that's kind of familiar. So this could be something like the same bed sheets, or your comforters or teddies or favourite books. Just make sure you're taking something with you so that you can put that into their sleep environment when they're there, to make it feel as cosy as possible. My other big recommendation to take with you is a blackout blind. So by this we're talking about like a travel one, because you don't necessarily know what the environment's like that you're heading into. So by taking a travel blackout blind, like one of the ones from the Grow Company, or there are other ones that are available, you can actually make sure that you are controlling the environment, because it's light in the evenings, it's light in the morning, and you might want to make sure you're just keeping that light out, because that will help them to settle better and stay asleep. Obviously, you need to think about what they're sleeping in. You can figure that out, I suppose, with what you're taking. Travel cots are brilliant. Even just don't worry too much about the size of the mattress. Often people worry about how big the mattress is, but actually my kids have always slept well in travel cots, so don't worry about that. I think the essence of it is take as much as you can with you when you're going away, to create like this comfortable environment for them, but don't worry too much about it. So once you're there, once you've kind of arrived, what you want to be doing is trying to then get onto your normal routine. Now, you might have to adjust this if your naps have slightly shifted. Maybe they've slept for a bit longer in the car and you needed that because you're driving and it was peaceful. So you can continue with that if need be, but make sure that when you're getting to your place and you're thinking about your bedtime routine, you might shift it back a little bit later because they might have slept a bit longer. Or if they haven't slept well, early bedtime. There'll be a lot of excitement going on if you're in a new space, because they'll be very stimulated by the environment. So just think about that and compensate for that with perhaps a bit of wind down time, having a bath, doing something kind of quiet play. One-to-one time can be great. And then looking at kind of getting that bedtime routine off and away and getting them to settle down. And then once they're asleep, obviously you want to be following the same pattern of sleep that you've been doing at home. You might find, like I said, on the first night, you might find some things are a little bit tricky. It might not be, you might be lucky. And a lot of people are, so don't worry about that either. But if you do, deal with it in your way and make sure that you kind of get through the night and then you can start the next day fresh from, kind of enjoying the environment, but follow your routine as closely as you can. And I mean that with flex. So for example, if you want to be out for lunch, go out for lunch, but make sure you think about your child and what they need. So do they need to sleep around lunch? So therefore you might take them for a walk beforehand so you can have your lunch in peace and quiet, ideally. Or do they need to sleep directly after lunch so you can schedule your walk after that, or a car journey after that to then get home and have a nap at home. So flex it a little bit. Or if things slightly pull away from the normal routine, it's not the end of the world. You can always compensate. You can always get back on track with it all. And if you're lucky to be away for a few days, things will start to get into place and you'll be able to kind of hopefully settle into that new environment. And it really becomes about consistency and just enjoying a little bit of freedom, a little bit of a different environment, but understanding that might cause your child a little bit of up and down in terms of their emotion. So that's really it. The last thing to say is don't worry if it all goes wrong, because do what you can, do what you need, and when you get back home, you can always start to get your sleep back on track. And if you need any help with that, then obviously I'm here and will always be happy to help. So that's it for my travelling talk. I hope you enjoyed it. Any questions, as ever, please do let me know and I'll be back soon with another topic. Take care. Bye-bye.